What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. We're doing a Q&A and this is a part 2 of a 2-part Q&A. If you want to watch the first part, it's on Matt's channel, MattDoesFitness. Well, I think you should watch it. There's a lot of good information there. I'm joined with Matt today and we're going to go through the second part. So let's get cracking. I'm going to set a timer, so I'm going to do this for about 15 minutes because the last Q&A I did was an hour long. And so the first question. How do you know how many calories you should be consuming?
So there's like an abundance of calorie calculators and stuff online, which some of it I guess can be useful to an extent, but the best way to know how many calories you should be consuming, so let's say you want to maintain your body weight, just track your calories for a couple of weeks, weigh yourself every day, and then when you get to pick a number out of the sky, say right, I'm going to eat 2,000 calories a day for the next week, right? If at the end of that week your weight has like leveled out, that means you're at maintenance. At that point you can decide where you want to go, If you're gaining weight, then you can drop calories. If you're losing weight, you can increase calories. But yeah, a lot of people will say, oh yeah, how many calories, I'm this old, I do this much, I train this much, how many calories do I need? Like, unless I'm a wizard, I can't work that out.
Yeah, that's the problem with those calculators, because if someone's been on like 1,800 calories a day and they put all their details in a calculator which says, oh, you should be consuming 2,500 calories a day, that's a huge jump up. Like, and if they do that for a week, they're going to put on a lot of weight very quickly because their body's just not used to it. It's a much slower metabolism, so it's something you have to ease yourself into.
And even then, like genetics, you can. I have a fast metabolism, so there are people that will be very similar size to me and do similar things to me that wouldn't burn as many calories as I do. Like, a lot of that is hereditary, so it's very hard to essentially pick a number out of the sky if you get it from a calculator.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Your question now.
Oh yeah, that's awkward. Okay.
Just gonna wait for me to.
Okay, Patrick J. Chapman. Cool name, Patrick. How best to apply progressive overload to biceps to force them to grow?
Oof. Well, first of all, you need to safely say to yourself, can you actually execute the exercise properly? By that I mean actually curling the weight up, keeping everything locked in position, being able to squeeze and contract the bicep, and then obviously go back and down again. So how would you go about progressively overloading it?
Same as anything, isn't it? There's no magic formula for bite. Like, it's no different to any other body part. Like,
I would definitely recommend following a program. Just going into the gym and just try to wing it and improvise. Just go, I'm going to do a bit of this, do a bit of that, and then the next session you do the same thing again, not really knowing what you did the previous session. You're not going to be able to safely say that you've overloaded the muscle because you have no idea what you did previously. So follow a proper program. Whether you do biceps, triceps in one session or you throw biceps into another split, doesn't really matter massively. Just pick exercises, write down the weights which you've done in the previous session, and then look to gradually build up the weights which you're lifting over time. I think the problem is, in my experience, is people don't know when they should go heavier. Or let's say, for example, they can do, say, 3 sets on a specific weight, and the next step up from that is quite a jump in terms of weight. So they can't do, let's say for example, they're doing 3 sets of 10. They can't do 3 sets of 10 on a new weight. How would you then go about it?
But it's hard because, like, for example, a squat, like a 2.5 kilo increment increase in a squat isn't, as a ratio of your overweight isn't very much, but for a bicep is a small muscle group, so you can't lift that much total weight. So a 2.5 kilo jump could be a pretty significant jump. So I would just add reps. So for example, if you're doing 4 sets of 10 for your for a hammer curl or whatever, the following week just do 3 sets of 10, and your final set just do 12, and then the following week maybe do 10, 10, 12, 12, and then when you get to a point where you're doing 4 sets of 12, then you can add them 2.5 kilos, and because it takes 4 weeks,
bring that down to 8.
And but because that cycle takes, say, 3 or 4 weeks, that's enough time for you to adapt sufficiently to warrant going up by 2.5 kilos.
Yes.
Yeah.
I suppose that kind of, I was going to ask another question. How do you go about getting stronger in a particular lift?
Exactly the same, Progressive overload, the principle is pretty simple. Just increase your training volume in some way over a period of time. Like, if you're a beginner, you can do it from session to session. You could train twice a week and you can increase your numbers from one session to the next because you're going to make progress so quickly. If you've been training for like 10 years, it might take you, say, a month to start increasing your volume. But
so let's say they had like their programming on point and they knew what they needed to do in terms of weight selection in order to get stronger. What else could they do outside of the gym to help improve their strength?
Like, recovery is obviously really, really important. Like, your programming in terms of, like, if you're doing chest on two successive days, that's obviously not going to work. Like sleep, obviously eating. Like ultimately, the longer you can stay in a calorie surplus for, the quicker you're going to get strong. You know?
If you're cutting and you want to get more shredded, having the goal of trying to be stronger at the same time,
ambitious.
It's very ambitious.
They're like polar opposites. It's not
if I've been like seriously cutting, I am not feeling massively strong. So it's just one of those things I just have to sacrifice and be like, you know what, I'm not going to be setting in personal records for a while until I start bumping my calories up.
That's it. And if you want to be really, really good at something, you've got to kind of be ultra specific. So if you're trying to do two of those, polar opposites, then you're going to find that very hard. But you'd get more like gratification if you focus on one of them and just get really good at doing that thing. Yeah. Okay. Next question is 360 life. 360 life. This is in reference to the picture I put on Instagram of me and Mike topless in the bathroom. 360 life writes, wish I was there. Then it would be 3 hot guys in the bathroom with our shirts off, but we would not be taking pictures.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's not a question, and it's grossly inappropriate. So
yeah, if you want to see the picture,
if you want to see
Instagram,
and there's also another one.
It's really not as bad as it sounds.
It's not as bad as it sounds. I mean, it is a bit bad. Like it is a bit seedy, but it's just a standard topless shot.
It's got to be done for the gram sometimes.
Yeah, we did take a fully naked one. That's going to be up tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
My question.
Come on, Mike.
Have you competed before? Are you planning to compete in the future?
Me, yes. I've competed as a power. So I was a powerlifter up until the end of last year, and I've competed like numerous times as a powerlifter. As a bodybuilder, I don't really have any interest in competing because like my life's changed in the last like year or so, so I don't really need. I feel like it'd almost be a distraction. I wouldn't be able to commit to it properly. But also, just competing as a bodybuilder just doesn't appeal to me. It's not. Yeah.
It's not fun. I've done it twice, and I can safely say I turned into a miserable.
Yeah.
Arsehole.
You're just like killing yourself, aren't you? Literally. Yeah.
That's the only time I've like not enjoyed training.
Yeah.
Where I thought it was a chore, and it's one of the times where I actually developed a pretty bad relationship with food.
Yeah, exactly.
You just go to bed, you're on YouTube, and you just like watching all these food challenges and cooking shows.
Yeah.
Speaking of food challenges, you should watch some of his
rather
outrageous.
Yeah. Like if you deprive yourself of anything for like a long period of time, then like ultimately you're just going to go nuts. When you then say, right now I can eat donuts, you're going to eat like 40,000 donuts. So like it does. It leads to like eating disorders. It sucks. Like I'm up for getting lean, but like getting shredded to the point that you can compete is just like a horrible thing to do. Like and for me the competing element wouldn't justify that. It wouldn't be exciting enough and gratifying enough.
Not unless there was the chance of winning like 10 grand or something, but you don't like,
or if like they found a real dinosaur and then you just got it if you won. Imagine that.
Keep it as a pet.
An Allosaurus. It was just there in a cage, and if you won, you got the dinosaur.
And it laid eggs super high in protein.
Unrealistic. Michael.Faff, would you like to push Michael.Faff, would you like to push my Instagram a bit? Would love it. No, I wouldn't, Michael. Go away.
Next one. How should your approach to training and nutrition change as you get older? First of all, let's just talk about. I'm 27, going on 28. How old are you?
39. Wait, 32 though. That's quite old, isn't it?
Yeah. So
almost dead.
How does it change?
I wasn't listening. What's the question?
How should your approach to training and nutrition change as you get older? Now I'm talking like, let's say you get into your 30s and 40s and 50s.
Well,
how does it change?
I think the thing is, age can be misleading because it's actually it's your training age, isn't it? Like if you're 30 but you've never trained before, your approach will be different to a 30-year-old that's trained for 15 years. Do you know what I mean? And you've dieted for that. Do you know what I mean? It's more about your training and your dieting age, I guess. Yeah,
because if you're like, there's some people who are saying, I've got emails before saying, I'm 15 years old, I'm just getting into this. Like, am I too late? No.
And Mike's like, delete.
This guy's gonna be too much work. No, you start with the basics. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah.
Learning how to execute the proper lifts, not overcomplicating it to begin with. Just, starting off from the beginning, gradually getting stronger, and following a proper program, and so on. I would probably say though, if as you get older, you do require more protein. I've definitely done some research on that, and your protein requirements go up as you get older. So let's say, for example, I would probably want a little bit more than necessary. It could actually be the standard figures like 2.2 grams per kilogram. It might even be more than that. And then I don't know if this is a case because I'm only 27 now, but I've noticed as I've got a little bit older, my gut has been a little bit more sensitive to different types of food. You just have like an iron stomach that can tolerate anything, but I've definitely noticed I can't eat the things I used to be able to eat when I was 20. Or maybe I've just become more aware of things. I don't know. Yeah,
more empathetic.
And then I would say as well, warming up is definitely more essential.
And I think like as your training age increases, so as you've been training for longer, like obviously progress is going to be slower, and therefore you need to be more patient. And it's like the little things that are going to help. You know what I mean? Like when you're a beginner, you're going to make loads of progress on pretty much any setup. Whereas when you get more experienced and progress is slower, that's when like little things like sleep and like you said, warming up and like that kind of stuff. That's where they're going to have more of an effect because you're looking for those little marginal gains rather than a beginner who's going to make progress on pretty much anything really. It's me. Oh my god, I'm not ready for this. Tarek.
No, we can't.
Yes, we can. And
all your questions are so weird.
Tarek 11 Ali. How often do you shave your body?
Do you know what? Fortunately, I don't have that much
3
hair.
times a day.
Like I just have like the thinnest layer of fluff.
I've been in
my
Mike's
torso.
house for 24 hours. He shaved his body 4 times in that period, so that gives you an insight.
My legs are hairy though. I do often. Summer season, I'll shave my legs once.
Really? I've never shaved my legs.
Trust
in my
me,
life.
when you shave your legs just look ripped.
Yeah, that's
way
the thing.
more ripped.
And
when you're applying lotion, it's just better. Because when you're putting lotion, suntan cream. Not
okay, right. So yeah, I'm with you. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm similar. I have quite light hair.
Like we were training with Justin today, and he's a big bush of a man. He has hair everywhere. If I had that, it would be annoying because there's a baby crying outside.
That story of you shaving and applying lotion to your legs has disturbed that baby to such an extent that now crying.
My question: what's a muscle group which you've had a really hard time developing?
My shoulders are pretty crap, but that's because like I was a powerlifter for 4 years, so towards the end all I did pretty much was squat, bench and deadlift. So like my side delts, for example, I never touched. So I guess now I'm kind of having to play catch up, and because I'm longer into my lifting like journey, I hate that word, but into my lifting like career journey, longer into my lifting career, obviously things are happening slower. So now I'm paying the price for that because my shoulders are developing at a slower rate. So in hindsight, I should have trained shoulders more, I guess. Like I didn't do any overhead pressing for like 2 years pretty much, and my shoulder strength sucks. But
I would say the same. Not necessarily. I think my shoulders are quite strong. It's just like the overall mass and size of them. Like I've got a very big chest. No idea why, whether it's genetics or maybe because I was just hammering it when I was younger. So my chest and my arms are pretty big, which has got to the point where it just makes my shoulders look
that's the
tiny.
thing, isn't it? That's the thing. Everyone has their genetic strong points, and therefore sometimes they're going to make other body parts seem smaller, and maybe for the average person they're not. But because
I think as well with exercise execution, it's something which I've been doing wrong for a long time. I think there's definite improvements which I can make.
Yeah. Like your mechanics and stuff, and the way you train. Yeah, and the problem is if you train. So for example, a classic one is like bench pressing with like really flared elbows, and you're just hitting your like front delts all the time. The more you do that, the more that form becomes embedded, and then that you end up getting huge front delts and no chest, and that horrible like rounded shoulders.
Lateral raises, which was a pure trap.
Yeah, just like shrugs.
15
like, my traps
kilos.
are massive. Yeah. So and obviously that gets exacerbated over time. So it's really important to address. Like if you have a weak area, not only have you got to make sure you're focusing on it, you've got to make sure you're actually engaging that muscle, because the chances are you've spent years like not properly engaging it, and therefore it's going to have to be like you have to be consciously aware of engaging the muscle when you're working it, because it's very easy. Like things like you can do a lat pull down without hitting your lats hugely if you just kind of whack it out. You've got to properly be mindful of what you're doing.
Yeah, no question.
Oh my god, my phone's locked. Okay, this is a serious question now. Tarek77, is it a good idea to intermittent fast while bulking to minimise fat storage? Doesn't make sense.
It can work.
Yeah, but what happened? Like
he's
saying, right? He's bulking. He wants to minimise fat loss. Is intermittent fasting going to help? No. Like all this, like the more food, the bigger surplus you're in, the more fat you're going to gain. Like intermittent fasting isn't magic.
If you're in a surplus, it's not going to make much of a difference when you eat those meals. If you eat it within an 8-hour window or space it out. I think ultimately though, if you're bulking and you're thinking of intermittent fasting, but you struggle to get all the calories in, not a good idea.
Terrible idea. Yeah, like if you're bulking, and you intermittent fast, you're just limiting the amount of time you can eat for, which is going to make it harder to get the calories in. Like, there's no magic diet. No diet's going to make you gain or lose more fat. Like, what's going to make you gain or lose more fat is how many calories you're consuming. If a certain diet helps you hit a certain number of calories, then that's great, it's effective, but you're getting the outcome because of what you're eating, not because of when you're eating it or what you're eating.
Speaking of which, how do you go about setting your macronutrient targets, such as protein, carbs and fats?
I'm a bad person to ask because I'm a hobo and I don't really track as such. Like, I'll track occasionally, but generally speaking, I just kind of eyeball stuff and estimate. I make sure I get enough protein, so I try to hit like... Oh my god.
That's the time I will finish this question. Hey!
I make sure I get like, say, 200 grams of protein or thereabouts, but beyond that, I just kind of...
Yeah, I would say, first of all...
I'm a bad example, don't copy me.
You want to set your calorie targets. Then, second of all, you set your protein target, which is around 2.2 grams per total kilograms body weight. Then it's up to you whether you want to fill those calories up with carbs or fats. The ratio is going to vary, and I think you should try it out and experiment for yourself. Maybe do a week or 2 weeks trying out a higher carb, lower fat approach. Then do the complete opposite. Do lower carb, higher fat. See how you feel with that. Or then, for most people, I think it's just a combination of both. I tend to go mostly high carb. I like carbs. They feel good. They give me energy.
That's it,
they reduce the cravings.
Like personal preference, isn't it?
And then I might just dip them down and up the fats a little bit on my rest days where I'm not doing too much. And it's that works for me. But is it going to work for everyone? Maybe not.
It's also like the foods you like. Like, if you hate fatty foods, then it's not a good idea to give yourself a really high fat target, because then you're going to hate your diet. And it's not going to be, you're not going to adhere to it. So like, just find what works with you for you within reason. Like, if what works for you is shaving a cow and eating it alive, don't do that. But like normal things, if it works for you, then do it.
Yeah. And on that note, that's the end of the Q&A. I think we'll definitely have to do another one again in the future at some point.
10 minutes?
Yep. We'll see if people are sick of this length or not. So guys, thanks for watching. Make sure that you check out the Physique Transformation course, which I've just launched on my website. Once you make a one-off payment, you will get lifetime access to all the videos on the members area. There's at least 50 at the moment. You also get 4 training phases, which should last you at least 5 months. You get access to all those training programs on the Athlete app, which I've recently just launched as well. You also get access to a private Facebook group, which I'm going to be managing, taking control of, and doing live Q&As and webinars and so on. So link is in the description for that. Thanks again for watching, and see you guys soon.